You have to report it. If you don't, you're in violation of the law, and you can be charged with a felony, I mean, not a felony, I'm sorry, a misdemeanor, and 6 months in jail or up to $500. So good news is the statute in Alabama says, you know what, you're protected against retaliation. And guess what? If somebody tries to sue you because you reported and it didn't turn out to be child abuse or neglect, you're absolutely immune from that lawsuit. So you're protected all the way around. Some people come to me and say, well, does this situation fit? And I said, I'm not the judge of that. If you have any inkling that there might be child abuse or neglect, you contact UAPD, 348-5454. Let them decide whether it meets it or not. You're protected from a lawsuit, and you're protected from retaliation. So very, very important mandatory reporting statute. We also, as we're talking about minors, a couple years in 2017, we decided that, we have a lot of kids on campus who are here every day of the week. I think Marcy Huey is our compliance director over summer camps. I think, I don't know, 100,000 kids on this campus under the age of 17 every year. We decided we needed to start registering those events. So if you are working on a project where you're going to bring minors to campus, there's a registration process. We're going to be background checking everybody who's working with those kids. You're going to learn some policies and procedures. You all have to go through all the mandatory training for the youth and child protection. Let's see, it does not apply for 17-year-olds in your class. Obviously, that's already approved. It's these extracurricular kinds of activities. But if you're planning on doing that, you need to give them about 8 weeks advance notice to start that registration process, because it takes that much time to get all the pieces in place. Make sure you're properly insured, make sure all the right people are on the staff, don't have a background that causes concern to us. That's the point of that. All right, we're going to start talking about our student code of conduct and how important it is for you to know it as an employee. So if you're dealing with a student who needs to know about this because they're a victim, you can direct them to the right place, or you as a student have experienced issues, you know how to file a complaint and what's going to happen. I give you the website to the code. I know it's a long document, so you're unlikely to read it, so I'm going to try and summarize it. It does cover on-campus and off-campus activity, okay? So it's not just something a student does on campus. We have jurisdiction if a student violates our code off-campus. Our policy, our code of conduct says that if you violate any of these listed policies or any university policy, I just list the ones that are the most problematic, then you're subject to discipline. Our sexual misconduct, which we're going to talk about, hazing, harassment, child protection, we just talked about, the drug-free campus and workplace policy, I mentioned that earlier, dangerous weapons and firearm policy, I mentioned that earlier, and then OIT policies. You're in the dorm and residential life and you're downloading a bunch of copyrighted materials and sharing it and, violating, the inventor's or the author's rights. You can get in serious trouble for that. Also, and I don't think it's on my slides, but there are provisions in the code of conduct that say if you're disrupting the educational process, that's a violation of the student code of conduct. So if you have a disruptive student in your class who is not allowing you to get your material out, and you've warned them and you've had discussions with them afterwards, and they continue, you've got a code of conduct charge, and you think that's so harsh, but sometimes that may be the best avenue to get them into some counseling center, some other treatment. We're not so much a punitive as much as an educational. We're not a criminal justice system. We're a system that tries to help the students learn to maneuver this new environment. They're at a young age. Yes, there are some things that they can do that could get them expelled and suspended, but disruption in class is something we can deal with. And if you need to have to go the code of conduct route, know that that's another provision in there that could help you. The process is that any member of the university community can file a complaint against a student for misconduct. Non-UA members with direct knowledge or information can participate as witnesses. If you bring a complaint, they have an online complaint form now, but you can also prepare one in writing and send it over to the Office of Student Conduct. The director there is Todd Borst. We have a lot of investigators in that office. We don't have a strict statute of limitations, but obviously the longer somebody waits, the less likely we're going to be able to do something about it, because you lose the ability to give good, clear, clean, uncontradicted evidence the longer you wait. So the big message here from the whole day is act promptly. You can't sit on it. If you know a child abuse or neglect, you've got to act promptly. These other things that I'm going to talk about, you've got to act promptly. Same thing here. We encourage students to just go ahead and if they have a problem, or if you've got a problem with the student, go ahead and bring it to the attention of that office. They would like it preferably 30 calendar days. I'm saying that's too long. That's too long. Act promptly. If we have stalking or domestic violence or dating violence or sexual assault, there's no statute of limitations on that at all. Obviously, the sooner we know about it, the quicker we can take some action to stop that behavior. The student code also has some provisions about harassment of a non-sexual nature, threatening behaviors, and bullying. This gets real detailed, but basically you're directing some conduct towards someone based on their race, color, religion, national origin, age, disability, all those protected statuses we talked about. It's got to be sufficiently severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive that it would interfere with a reasonable person's ability to participate in or obtain the benefits of one of our activities. Also, the code says any attempt to intentionally and repeatedly make contact with a person over their stated objection, that's going to be a stalking charge. An act that invades the privacy of another, let's say you're videotaping two people without letting them know, and they had a reasonable expectation of privacy. Many years ago at another school, there was